laying down on your back. All right, and so as you come down onto your back, just start by taking your feet a little bit wider than your hips and letting your head rest on the floor. Let your arms rest on the floor and start to gently sway your knees from side to side. So, this not only gives you a chance to kind of connect in with your hips, but also the low back, the sacrum, all parts of the back that touch the floor, so that you can kind of check in with how you're feeling today. So, if this is morning for you, it's a little after 8 a.m. Central Time. So, if it's morning for you, perhaps you haven't done much movement yet today. Maybe you're watching this at a later time. But just take a moment to notice how you feel before we start to do a little bit more movement. All right, so from here, let your left leg straighten along the floor. Take your right knee in toward your chest, give it a squeeze. Now you might be grabbing around your shin, you might grab behind your knee, whatever is comfortable for you. And as you start to draw that right knee in toward the chest, move it a bit from side to side, as well as rotate through your ankle a few times each way. All right, now begin to cross that right knee over toward the floor on the left. So you're rolling fully onto your left hip. So your hips are relatively stacked, one on top of the other. And then you might rest your head down on the floor or on your left arm for a little bit of support. If you have blocks, you could also use a block to support underneath your head or a pillow. And so take then your right hand to your right shoulder and start to rotate. Take a few circles in one direction. And a few circles the opposite way. All right, now reach this right hand up toward the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, reach your right hand out and back towards the floor behind you. And we'll do that twice more. As we inhale, right arm reaches up. Exhale, reaching out and back. And then one more like that, breathing in. And breathing out. And then as you land here in this rotation, just make any little micro adjustments to your position to make yourself more comfortable. Sometimes it's nice to take that left hand to the right knee. You might also experiment with how high you want your right arm to be, just to find an interesting angle for that right shoulder. And then gently sway your head a few times from side to side. See where your head and neck are most comfortable to rest. Take another breath or two. And then begin to guide that right knee back to center. And as it comes back through center, let it drop now out to the right side. Still bent, just dropped out to the right side. All right, now let your left knee bend as you walk your left foot in, and then cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Guide your legs into your chest, reaching through now for your left leg. And again, you might grab around your shin or behind your knee and rock a bit side to side. All right, one more breath. All right, release both feet down to the floor. Step them wider than your hips and then drop your knees in toward each other. Let your hands rest on your belly. We'll take a few rounds of breath here. As we breathe into the count of 3. Hold the breath inside for 3 more counts. And then exhale to the count of 6. Again, inhale to 3. Hold. Exhale to 6. And one more breath like that. And so after that 6 count exhalation, straighten your right leg along the floor. This time taking the left knee into the chest. Move it a bit side to side, as well as rotate through the ankle a few times each way. All right, and then cross that left knee over toward the floor on the right, so that as you roll onto your right side, your hips are stacked. You might choose to rest your head on your right arm or the floor or a soft prop. And then take your left hand to your left shoulder and start to rotate. All right, and then change directions. All right, now reach your left hand up toward the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, twist, reaching that left arm out and back towards the floor behind you. And then twice more. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, out and back. And one more, breathing in. And breathing out. And then again, make any micro adjustment to your position to make yourself even a little bit more comfortable. So perhaps your right hand rests on that left knee. And you can experiment with the angle of your left arm. Maybe it's a little lower on this side, maybe a little higher. Just depending on how it feels in your left shoulder and up in to your left side, the left side of your chest. And gently sway your head a bit side to side. Find the most comfortable place for the head and neck to rest. And then just let yourself relax into the rotation. So sometimes in movement practices, we're so focused on the doing of the posture that we forget to let ourselves be in the posture. So really let yourself relax into the shape, particularly the postures that we're doing today, where you're largely supported by the floor. So it's very much safe to relax into it. All right, take another breath or two. And then guide that left knee back through center. And keeping it bent, now drop it out to the left side. All right, now let your right knee bend. Walk the right foot in. Cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Bring the legs in toward the chest. Again, reaching through for that right leg. Rock a little side to side. All right, take another breath or two. All right, and release both feet down to the floor. Again, step them a little wider than your hips. Drop your knees in toward each other. Again, let the hands rest on the belly. And we'll take 3 more rounds of breath, breathing into the count of 3, hold it in for 3 counts, and then exhale to the count of 6. So begin when you're ready. And then after that third long out breath, go ahead and roll over onto the front of your body. And so as you come over onto the front of your body, you start to walk your arms forward so that your elbows are underneath your shoulders. And then let your forearms be parallel to each other. Gently press your arms into the floor, lift your heart, reaching it forward, reach back through your toes, and then gently turn your head from side to side. All right, and then reach your chin up and down toward the chest. Again, lifting up and dropping. And one more time, lifting up and dropping. All right, then bring your chest down to the floor. You can cross your hands here to make a little pillow for your head, and then just scoot your right knee up and out to the side. Now you can turn your head one way or the other, or rest your chin or forehead on your crossed hands. But just take a moment to land into a sense of rest, giving the low back a little bit of a break. Sometimes that posture we were just in compresses the low back in a way that feels a bit intense. Other times it doesn't feel intense. But take a few breaths, feeling the backside of your body expand and rise toward the ceiling. Exhale, let yourself relax into the floor. All right, now keeping that right knee out to the side, we're going to take the left arm directly out from the shoulder. So straight out to the side, but resting on the floor. I'm going to slide my right hand to the outside of my right shoulder and then turn the head over to the right as well. So now the left side of my head is resting down on the floor and my left arm is out to the side. Now, as I start to press down into this right hand, I'm turning the chest a little bit more away from the floor to create a stretch down that left arm and shoulder. And then you'll want to kind of scoot this right knee in a little bit to help support. Now, if your shoulders are perhaps less muscular or not as tight, so to speak, you might find comfort in stacking your legs. You might step that right foot back toward the floor behind you. But as we're doing this, we're not looking for super intense sensation, so it may be enough to keep the legs stacked or to keep the right knee down. You want to find a little bit of sensation that sort of holds your attention, but not so much sensation that it feels super intense. And then, as we did laying on our backs with our knees together, we'll breathe into the count of 3, hold it in for 3, and exhale to the count of 6. And we'll do 3 rounds of breath in that way. So begin when ready. And so after your third out breath, let your legs slide back together, roll back onto your front. Take that left arm down alongside the body to pause and rest. Another deep breath in and out. And then take your left knee up and out to the side. Just starting with the knee. Rest your head on your crossed hands. Maybe it's your chin or your forehead. Maybe you turn your head one way or the other. Take a couple rounds of breath before we add the arm. And feeling the back and the belly expand with breath. And the whole body resting into the earth as you breathe out. All right, and then from here, we'll add the right arm. So take it directly out from your shoulder, out to the side. And then turn your head over to the left, letting your head rest on the floor. Use the left hand to push down and turn your chest away from the floor. You'll have to walk that left knee in a little bit, probably. And then either, if you have plenty of sensation in the front of that right shoulder, just keep the left knee down on the floor. You could also stack your legs or step that left foot back. One of the things that these other leg positions do is they take some of the weight off of that left hand. So if it's comfortable to stack your legs, you might do that or step your foot back. But if it's most comfortable to keep that left knee down, just do that. And then once again, that 3-3-6 breath, inhaling to 3, hold it in for 3, and exhale for 6. We'll do another 3 rounds of breath. So begin when you're ready. All right, so after your third breath, slide that left leg down so your legs are back together. Roll back onto your front. Let your right arm come down alongside your torso as you pause and rest. All right, press up onto hands and knees. Now, as you bring yourself up onto hands and knees, take your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And we'll start with a few cycles of cat and cow. So as you breathe in, let the belly drop, lifting your head and your tailbone. And then as you breathe out, tuck your tailbone around your back, bring your chin toward your chest. Again, with your inhale, belly drops, head and tail lift up. And exhale, tuck and round. All right, one more like that. Breathing in and breathing out. So as you bring your torso back to neutral, take your big toes together, but take your knees a little wide apart. And then walk your hands back so that you can sit back near your feet and fold your torso forward. Now, maybe the head comes to rest on the floor. If it doesn't quite come to the floor, if you have something like a pillow or a block, you can give your head a little bit of something to rest on. You could also cross your hands as we did when we were face down on the floor. All right, breathing into the count of 3. Hold it in for 3 and exhale for 6. Two more rounds of breath in this way. All right, then we'll rise back up onto hands and knees. We'll step the right foot forward to the right hand. Now make this a narrow lunge. So you're going to scoot your left knee in a little bit so that it's right underneath your hip. And then walk your hands up so they're up on the right thigh. Specifically taking that left hand to rest on your right thigh. And then sweep your right hand forward, up and back and down, just rotating through your shoulder, but also letting your torso twist as your arm reaches back. All right, then the next time that you take your right arm back, go ahead and pause in the twist and turn your head to look back, perhaps spotting that right thumb, and then turn your right palm up and down and back so that your whole arm is now rotating back and forward, but all the way up at the shoulder. So really let it be the entire arm rolling back and forward. All right, bring your right hand forward, both hands to the floor. Step your left foot forward so you come into a forward fold. Feet a little wider than the hips. Knees slightly bent. Folding over the thighs. Release the weight of your head. Shake it yes and no. All right, take a deep breath in. Lift your torso up so it's parallel to the floor. So your hands are going to slide up your shins. Exhale, fold over your legs. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift the torso so it's parallel to the floor. Hands slide up. Exhale and fold. All right, one more like that. Inhale, lifting halfway. And exhale. Now take both hands to the floor and step your feet back. Hips are up in the air. All right, release your knees down. Step your left foot forward to your left hand. Take that right knee underneath the hip and then lift your torso up. Take the right hand to the left knee and then sweep the left hand forward and up and back and down. Rotating a few times through the left shoulder, but also letting the torso twist and untwist as you move. All right, the next time you take your left arm back, go ahead and pause in the twist. Turn your head to look back, perhaps spotting that left thumb. And then left palm turns up and down and back. Really let the entire arm rotate back and forward, all the way up into the shoulder. All right, bring the left hand forward, both hands to the floor. This time, take your left leg back again, big toes together, knees apart. Sit back towards your feet. Once again, coming into child's pose here. Breathing into the count of 3. Hold it in for 3. And exhale for 6. Continue to breathe in this way for several rounds of breath. Take one more round of breath in this way. And then after that long exhalation, bring yourself into a seat. As you come into your seat, we'll take our palms together in front of the heart. As we bow to the light within ourselves, we also bow to the light within each other. Thank you again for practicing with me live or on the replay. See you again next time. Bye-bye.